it's a crowning achievement for this point in your career. So thank you, Janet, Mike, for this really nice honor, and thank you, JC, for earning that tremendous honor. So with that, I think that's the few words I was allowed. So I think what I'd like to do now is introduce our president, James Spaniolo, to come up and say a few words. Jim, if you would mind.
Thank you.
You can just call me JD. It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
JC, I think you've started a very good tradition. You know, I think between JP, Harry, and Ron, most of what there is to say has been said. You know, I've got these long set of remarks here, but you know, you've all covered it. Can't use them. But I do have, when I think of JP and JC, is I think about the kind of presence that and the kind of contribution he makes to our faculty in the College of Engineering, but university-wide. And the word, there's a term that is intended as a high compliment to anybody, and that's kind of to be a Renaissance person. And I think, JC, you remind me of a modern-day 21st century Renaissance person in your field and in your presence here at the university. You are the kind of faculty member who leads the way for us to become a Tier 1 institution over the next decade. And our new dean, who we're so proud to have with us, and we even have a day that's like Southern California. And Arian, the faculty members who are here, other endowed chairs, that's the leading edge, and you are the future of this university. I wanted to say, just adding to what Ron's recalled, the Peter O'Donnell Award, and I had the good fortune to be there at the dinner when JC was given that award and when Ron introduced him. But there's another part of that story that I think I want to share with you, is that I was seated next to David Daniel, who is the president of UT Dallas. And as you may know, UT Dallas has, one of their colors is green. And as JC was being introduced, I felt like David Daniel's complexion was turning green. Because UT Arlington, in the form of Dr.chiao, was being awarded at UT Dallas. Now, not that we're keeping, not that we're competitive, but let me just say it was a sweet moment. And I also wanted to say a word about the Greenes, Mike and Janet. It's been my pleasure to have known them almost as long as I've been here at UT Arlington. One of the first lunches I had with someone off campus was with Mike Greene. And he told me about, I remember that he graduated in 1969. And, you know, for those of you who think that that's a long time ago, I would say it's not that long ago, because I graduated from my college, the University of 1968. So it's not that long. You're as young as you feel, and as you act. And the Greenes are a dynamic force in their support for UT Arlington in so many ways. Mike is a member of our development board, a member of the executive committee of the development board, has been instrumental as we are charting our course for elevating the philanthropic role that underlies and needs to support our university. And so I can't think of a better match. You know, we have this Maverick Match program that really involves matching dollars, but I can't think of a better Maverick match than J.C. Chiao and Mike and Janet Greene and it's a pleasure to be in your company today. So I just salute you all. We're going to turn it back over to JP. JD to JP.
Jim, in case you need later on an expert witness.
Thank you, GS. Right? JD, I'm sorry. JD. Now I'd like to bring to the podium Mike, maybe you can say a few words.
Sure.
And then I'd like to JC to express what you have to say. So, and then you have something to say. So, Mike, would you come to the podium? And
Sure.
you can, Janet, if you want to join. It's Janet and Mike, Greene and
speak, but no, I mean, for some reason I feel like I'm going to get a grade after this. I don't know. Get flashback. So 1969 wasn't that long ago. You walked into UTA and
You know, it's sweet.
No, it's really an honor for Janet and I to be here. And when Jim mentioned, or JD mentioned, the fact that I did graduate in 1969, that was a long time ago. But there's a lot, I think, in common with what was going on in the 60s and what's going on right now here on this campus. You know, the 60s were a time of real excitement because there was a brand new engineering school created right here in the heart of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, right in the heart of the Metroplex. And it was an exciting place to be. And a lot of folks really wanted to come to UT Arlington, except at that time it was Arlington State College, and be one of the first to get a degree from this institution. So I was one of those. I was one of those who sort of lived here locally over north of Fort Worth, and it was an exciting time. There were lots of buildings being built on this campus. In fact, Texas Hall was being built in about 1965. That was a long time ago. There's been a lot of basketball games played on that stage. It will be nice to see that shifted to all this construction going on down here. But I think the excitement that I've sort of sensed by reading the papers, coming to events like this that's going on right now, is very reminiscent of what happened in the 1960s. And I think that's a great base to grow on. So all I see is just a great and more bright future for UT Arlington. Jen and I are just very pleased and really humbled to be able to do things like this. And it really happened because I went to Arlington State College, got a mechanical engineering degree, and by the way, I have a right pen on today. Thank you very much. He told me if I would mention that, there would be a round of applause. I did get that degree, and I worked for the same company for about 46 years. That company really evolved over the years. It's the old TXU company, now known as Energy Future Holdings, or Luminant, or Encore. That's Encore's background there behind us, the wires, in across the street over there, and TXU Energy. And if you look at the history of that company has always it's a great community-minded company. It always has been, and it continues to be, if you look at what's going on. UT Arlington and the old Texas Electric Service Company, TXU, have always had a great working relationship. So when I ended up being vice chairman of the company and I had a little bit of discretionary funds to donate, it just seemed a natural fit to want to do that back with UT Arlington, where I had graduated and where there's been this connection for a long, long time between the company that I work for and this institution. So, you know, as an engineer, you always look for root cause analysis. That's sort of why this happened. I had a degree, ended up having a good job, ended up at a level much higher than I ever anticipated, and so we're able to do things like this. And we find ourselves in a great partnership with Dr.chiao. And early on when we were talking, I told JC, I said, you know, there's really sort of perhaps a connection here. My grandfather was named J.C. Smith. This J.C. told me, well, there's lots of chows in China. So somewhere there could be a connection back between J.C. Smith and J.C. Chiao. So who knows? Anyway. Again, Janet and I are just very pleased to be able to do things like this. And we're very pleased that we do have a new partnership with JC. And Arian, thank you very much for putting this all together. It was your recommendation, and I certainly agreed with it. And so, on behalf of Janet and I, thank you all. And thank you for your
Now, JC, would you come to the podium and say a few words?
First, I want to thank everybody for coming. This moment, share this moment with me. This honor belongs to all UTA family. So I'm very happy that to share this moment with you. Also, I want to thank Presidents, Provost, Dean Bardet, and Dr. Chiao. Thank you for your leadership and support making this happen. And of course, I want to thank Mike and Janet, Mr. and Mrs. Greene, for your confidence and trust in UTA and also in me, and put your names next to my job title. That's a lot of responsibility. I will be telling people that I'm a Greene professor. That's
I'm actually a JM.
That was great. We are 3J. I was telling Janet that this moment has a meaning for me. Not only this honor is for UTA, but it has a personal meaning. I'm going to tell a story. This story was the first time I told in public. Only my family and close friends know about it. When I was in second grade, I was a very bad student. I was ranked 46 out of 50. Well, in Taiwan, they rank all students. So in the end of the second semester, in the second grade, in the parent-teacher conference meeting, my teacher, in front of all the parents and students, and tell my mother that I'm beyond hope for education. She says, you might as well take him home, send him to an auto repair shop, so he can learn how to repair a car, so he will not be a burden for the society. That was a defining moment. And that's why I still remember it today in the second grade. For the next 38 years, I was competing with myself and trying to improve myself, not only to prove my teacher was wrong, and also try to make my parents proud. So in my wildest dream, I was never imagined I would become a professor, not to mention a endowed professor. So this is a validation to my constant competition to myself, but also thank you very much from my parents. You make them feel very proud. As a professor today, we have a lot to complain. We have nasty battle to fight for research funding. We have brutal reviewer. You have to constant battle. We have facility, equipment, money, service for technical society. So we work 10, 12, 14 hours a day.